Keep the change, you filthy animal, or Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year. Hey guys, movies and TVs on the ball here. STEVEO coming at you. And I was just kind of wondering, kind of with the holiday seasons coming along, one of the films I want to talk about is Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Um, my question to you guys on this video is, what is your thoughts on Home Alone and Home Alone 2? Do you feel like Home Alone 1 was such a classic that Home Alone 2 was such a rehash of the first one? Were you fans of Home Alone 1? Do you feel like that has more of a magical feel to it than Home Alone 2? Um, when I watched the first one, Kevin is so young, and I think it dealt with the fear of being home alone. Like, I remember there's that scene where he comes out of um, the house and says, "I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore." And then old man Marley shows up and scares him, and he goes, "Ah!" Um, and I liked Home Alone 1. I feel like they kind of rehashed it so much with Home Alone 3, Home Alone 4, and Home Alone 5 and 6. And I kind of looked at Home Alone as, these two were like the best ones. And I think a lot of people say that the first one is probably better than the second one, because I think first one makes the Wet Bandits a lot more scarier, I think, in the first one. And in the sequel, they're a little bit more funnier. There's more comedy to it than the Wet Bandits. And I liked Buzz, which was kind of interesting what they did with in Home Alone 6 or Home Sweet Home Alone. I can't remember the sixth one that they recently came out with Disney Plus. They brought Buzz as a police officer, and Kevin was running a Home Alone has his own security company. So that was kind of a nice take on it. Home Alone, I liked. Home Alone 2, I guess I'm kind of nitpicking both the Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Home Alone 1, I like the store where she's checking out and he gets all the candy and stuff, and he's like, "It's for the kids. Are those microwave dinners really good?" And and of course there's that scene where he goes to get a toothbrush, and old man Marley shows up and scares the hell out of him. Excuse me, but scares him. Then you've got, I'm just kind of nitpicking, so give me. Then you have Uncle Frank, who is, I think, a lot more. I think he's funny in the film. I think there's like a deleted scene where he in France, he like goes over to Kevin and he says, "You know what they do in France? He pulls his pants down," which was kind of funny. It's a deleted scene. I liked home, and it, I guess, with the grocery store scene where he's getting stuff and the grocery clerk asks him, "Where's your mom? How many brothers and sisters you have?" I was like, "I'm an only child." It's like, "Why not?" "Because you're a stranger." I like that. I liked Harry and Marv. Let's get into those guys. At least in the first one, there's the Marv is played by, or Harry is played by Joe Pesci, and I remember listening to a commentary, or not commentary, but on a honest trailers. They were talking about the it sounds like Joe Pesci trying to curse in a PG-13 in a PG movie, in a kids movie, because he's like friggin', and that's, I like that. And the Daniel Stern I thought was great as Harry, as Marv. I think Marv, I can't remember. And he's like happy, Marv, especially like, wow. In the sequel, he's like, wow, what a hole. But I felt like they were a lot more cunning than the in the first one than they were in the second one. As I go on my rant, you also gotta talk about the Angels with Dirty Souls, which was the video that that they showed on the TV. In the first one, he's sitting at home eating junk food, and he's watching he's watching he's watching this comedy, or that's the comedy. He's watching this like movie called Angels with Dirty Souls, and he is Angels with Dirty Souls, and he's like, I'm eating rubbish, and he's like, who is it? Hold it right there. I could have smelled you. Snakes. He says, snakes. He owes me 50%. Well, too bad Charlie ain't in charge anymore. And the classic line, as the shirt says, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, which was a classic. And then the second one, I think it was like Angels with Even Filthier Souls was in the second one. And I'm going to give you, and it was this woman who's coming into this bar or this restaurant or this hotel, and she's like, Johnny, you're the only duck in my pond. He's like, you've been sleeping with everybody, which they did, kind of worked where he was trying to escape the hotel, where he's like going, you've been sleeping with everybody. Who? Oli Mac? Little Johnny with his skimpy leg? Cliff? And then Cliff, there's a guy that works there. It's like, yo, it's not me. And I like that, and I'm going to, and I liked how he says, I'm going to give you the count of 10 to get your lying, dirty, no good carcass off my lawn before I count to 10. 10. And I liked that. I love that scene. Going back to Home Alone, I looked at Buzz, and the thing I've noticed about Buzz was he was a lot more, immature in the first one, and he's a lot more that dangerous, big brother, and you can kind of tell that in Home Alone 1, he's a lot more cunning, I guess. And in the second one, he's very more manipulative, because at the beginning of it, they go to the pageant, and Kevin has that solo, and Buzz takes the candles and starts making drums, and if you remember, he socks them and all the thing, and she says, Kevin. And what I thought about it was, he's a lot more manipulative, because he he kind of apologizes to the family, and then goes over to Kevin and says, eat that, you little trout sniffer, or something like that. I don't even remember that. But he talks about that. And then I do see 1 and 2. I feel like 2 has a larger scale and is more upscaled, and of course, the cat's out of the bag. The Donald Trump cameo, which I think at the time he owned the Plaza Hotel, so you get kind of a thing. And he says, where's the lobby? He's like, down the hall to the right. That's kind of, I thought that was kind of cute, and looking back at it now, it's like, oh look, the president is helping this little boy. I would have to say that, there is this kind of moment where it's the scary adult, old man Marley who like is shoveling snow, and we hear the backstory is really kind of a nice old man because he meets him at church and kind of gives Kevin the the power to um, do a to really do the tricks and traps of the of the house for the burglars. And I think the second one they kind of did the same thing. But I love to talk. Let me know what your favorite. What I liked about the other one is let's look at the traps in Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. There's the I think in Home Alone 1 it's more practical, the traps, because he uses like that like Reynolds wrap stuff to like shut Kevin's not Kevin, but shut what's his name's kind of not shut, but stop his stop his thing. I guess you could say that there's a lot of or stop his thing, and then the traps were like he had the blowtorch, and then you had the micro machine. No, the I think Daniel Stern had um, the rubber feet for the ornaments that he steps on, but I think it still was real. I'm not really sure. I'd like to see what you would have to say about that. But and I liked the traps were like you had the micro machines out. And they flip and fall, and then the paint cans that Kevin uses for the in the house at Home Alone, and in the sequel, I remember that they go up the stairs and he says, "Come on, get them." He says, "Remember what happened last year? We went through his little fun house, and we're not gonna do it." So the first one, he says, "All right, here we go," and and he throws the paint can, and um, Marv says, "Oh, right in the snoz. Oh, my teeth." The and he says, "Let's get him," and he uses that big pipe thing, and they hit him. Then there's the fact that in the first one, Marv or Harry loses his gold tooth, and I remember in the scene he kind of opens it, and his dad, the John Hurt from Sharknado, finds the key, the golden tooth, and I love this movie. I feel like they kind of had two. I feel like the sequel, if you think about it retrospectively, the sequel was sort of doing the same thing that the first movie was doing, and but I feel like um, the first two Home Alone films were the best. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the Home Alone 1 and 2. Did you like the first one? Did you like the second one? Did you feel like Lost in New York um, was a rehash of the first one? Um, what was your thoughts on the the adult helper, I guess, with the pigeon lady and old man Marley? Um, what was your thoughts on uh, the fact that the opening for Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2? Um, Let me know in the comments below, and Merry Christmas. See you at the movies. Bye.